Welcome into Rover Sports, the show, and I'm here with a very special guest, my good buddy Matt Shenko, Mateo S. Shenko, and it's really great to see you, man. And how's everything been going with you? And how excited are you to talk today on Rover Sports?
Oh, it's exciting time. Always exciting time to hang out with you here tonight, and got a lot to discuss as to the NFL slate, and the draft is around the corner, and I'm just super excited to just talk it all with you, man. Let's get it fired up.
No doubt, no doubt, Shenko. Let's get it started. And Shenko, he's part of 610 AM radio here, and I first wanted to talk about the most current news of the day, and that is Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant leaves the Dallas Cowboys after maybe 7 or 8 years of being there. He is now gone. What do you think about this whole Dez Bryant situation?
Well, my first thoughts are, it definitely how Dez has been such a great wide receiver in this league for, quite some time. And, obviously I think he's just definitely one of the great wide receivers of the modern era. But, I really feel as well that he, wasn't really a quote-unquote, I guess, difference maker when it comes to big game situations. I know he made some big-time plays, when it mattered most. But, when I look at Dez Bryant, as the past couple years, his numbers diminished. I know he switched quarterbacks from Tony Romo to Dak Prescott and whatnot and what have you. But, you still need to produce, when the times matter. And with doing that, no disrespect to him at all, but, I just feel like with his off-field antics, his entire career really has been, kind of come to the forefront as well. And it's really kind of what happened here, really, in his kind of distraction. But, yeah, he was a great, wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys. A lot of Dallas fans loved him. A lot of people will say he's overpaid, which he definitely was. But, that's kind of why they wanted to part ways with him. I think they can obviously get younger and get better in this upcoming draft.
I think it was a very, 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 very good move by the Dallas Cowboys because they unload all that money. But, Shenko, I don't know what the hell the Dallas Cowboys are doing. Jason Garrett's still there. Jason Witten's still there, which is fine. But Sean Lee's there. Their team is managed horribly, in my opinion. I mean, I know that they had a great season 2 years back with Ezekiel Elliott. They also had a year when they, snuck in and beat the Eagles and went to Green Bay and lost a close game. They got smashed against the Vikings. But then other than that, they never have made the playoffs. The Dallas Cowboys haven't been to an NFC championship game in the last 21 years, man. When is Dallas going to finally get to the point where they're ready to compete? And do you think Dallas should tank and blow this whole thing up? Like, do you think Jason Garrett is on his last leg as a head coach? Or do you think that Dallas is actually poised to have a nice season this year?
Well, I really think that he, I really think that I'm going to make a bold statement right now, and I think that he's on his way out as head coach. I think he's in purgatory, always going 8-8, not really making a huge difference for your team. Dallas has had a plethora of talent, I feel, especially on the offensive side the past couple years when they had, they got Dak Prescott, and, they had, guys like David Witten and those boys, when you bring in some pretty nice guys there. And you go 13-3 last year, 2 years ago.
Well, how about Terrence Williams? He's a talent. Let's see. I mean, they did have DeMarco, when DeMarco was fantastic. They did have some talent. Escobar, Witten. You're right, man. You're absolutely right.
They did have the talent to really get over the hump, but, obviously they needed more time to gel, and a lot of those guys kind of just, their talent didn't really mesh up for in the whole plethora of things because it wasn't, meant to be for them. And I just don't think that, Jason Garrett can really bring these guys together and really make a difference with this squad. I really just feel like they needed to make a difference now and forever. And I think they should even go after some college coaches, maybe bring a Brian Shaw from Stanford. From Stanford. I mean, I want him as well to kind of change the culture for Dallas. So I really see that as a great fit. for the Dallas Cowboys if they decide to go in a different direction.
And Dallas, I mean, that's a storied history. It's the biggest franchise in the NFL, maybe even in the world, other than the Yankees. It's the most. I'm not going to say prestigious because I think the Giants have been along before them, but they're the biggest brand in the NFL, the most popular team in all the NFL, and I don't think it's close. But let's talk about Dez, okay? Would you rather Dez go to the Philadelphia Eagles or the New York Giants? And if Dez is going to be on the New York Giants, what do you think? I'm going to let you answer that question.
Well, if you're going to have a guy like Odell Beckham Jr. causing problems off the court, off the field, why not bring some more like that, right? I mean, Dez. Right. I mean,
Brandon Marshall there already.
I mean, you already brought in Brandon Marshall last year, and that was basically a shot in the dark. They tried it, didn't work. That
was horrible.
That was okay. But now you get to bring in a caliber like Dez Bryant. I mean, yeah, he's coming off his a downward spiral in his career. According to stats wise, but if you're going to bring in a guy like Dez Bryant, really change the value that the Giants offense can really have now. I mean, you can have really the three-headed monster with Dez Bryant, Evan Ingram and Odell Beckham. I mean, Odell Beckham, put him in the slot because I really think he's a really great slot receiver. I really think that he could do well because he doesn't have the size to really muster some of these 6'4", 6'5", or these 6'3", 6'4" cornerbacks to really go up and get the ball. I mean, Dez Bryant really could just throw it up in the end zone and go and get it. Because
Eli needs to play in the red. Eli needs a player in the red
receiver, and he's
the good news is that Alshon Jeffrey's in Philadelphia already. They have Matt Collins, Zach Ertz. Who else do the Eagles have at wide receiver that I'm missing? I know they have Corey Clement, but they have Alshon Jeffrey, Nelson Aguilar. There's no way he wants to go there, okay? Sterling Shepard is a guy that has really been okay for the Giants, but as a second-round value, I want to see more out of Sterling Shepard. And really, what Eli needs is Plexico Burress. That's when Eli was at his best. Brandon Marshall, they thought would be Plexico Burress. He's not. He's old. He's washed up. He is washed up, man. You could put his body like he's washed on the shores. That's his point in his career, Brandon Marshall.
I hear you, man, but that's all I'll be in a couple weeks.
I want Dez Bryant. I want Dez Bryant coming to the New York Giants if he's not going to go anywhere else.
Well,
I don't freaking care. I don't care anymore. And the good news about Dez is he's only going to be here a year or two. It's not like with Odell Beckham. That's the point, Shenko. I don't want Odell Beckham being signed for 7 years. That would be a nightmare.
Well, nightmare. I hate to break it to you, Spencer, but the Giants are going to find some way, shape, or form to sign him to a long-term contract. They're already
not a franchise tag, but a long-term deal.
No, they're talking about a long-term deal. I know they are, and it's definitely in the works. It hasn't been, signed yet, obviously, but Giants definitely want to keep him long-term. Because they're the type of organization they don't want to just give away talent. They could just work with guys like this.
That's preposterous.
I mean, there's all these wide receivers.
How dumb is that? They were just talking about trading him 2 weeks ago.
Well, that's the media for you. I don't even know who. I mean, the Giants definitely said that. I think that they just said it, obviously, just to lip service the media. And
really?
Look at them now. They're trying to sign him to a long-term contract. I mean, go to some reports, on ESPN,
What about the cocaine in that video that John Mara? Did John Mara like the cocaine in that video?
I mean, the cocaine wasn't proven, but, that's a topic for another day. But, I mean, definitely definitely a topic for another day for certainly. But,
Speaking of topics.
But I'm excited, man. For Dez Bryant, starting his next chapter for the for his organization. I mean, look, he's only, not even 30 years old. I mean, he's still got a lot of football left in him. I wish him the best wherever he goes. And, I feel that he's going to make the best move for him in his future.
I don't know, man. Once you hit 30 years old, you're just about done. You're Sean Alexander. You just vanish and poof and go
Well,
away.
Jerry Rice, look at him. He was over 30 years old. He did it pretty well, didn't he, for his campaign? I mean, there's a lot of guys who do
Jerry
well.
Rice is the greatest player to ever play the game of football.
Look at freaking Tom Brady. You mean to tell me he's washed up and he's 40 years
You're
old?
mentioning guys that are the greatest players in the history of the game, and Dez Bryant can't even sniff those guys. I mean, the one guy that played long into his career was maybe like Dante Stallworth. Trying to think of Terry Glenn before played a long time. I don't know. I mean, whatever guys. Usually it's a 7-year span that these guys are at the top of their game. I mean, Fitzgerald's the only guy from this generation that's played deep.
Yeah, I like that.
And Kendall Wright seems like he's been in the NFL a long time. But yeah, Dez Bryant, I think yeah, you're right. That's a tight end, but you're right. I think Dez Bryant is going to the Redskins, though. There's no way he goes to the Eagles. I mean, if the Eagles get him, that would just be so dumb. I would hate
Why would Dez go to a no-quarterback team? You want to go to a purgatory team like Alex Smith? Come on. Why would you
because they have a lot of money to hand over. And Deshaun Jackson went there. If you remember, Albert Haynesworth went there for a whole bunch of money. Terrell Pryor went there. They have a lot of money to give. Dan Snyder will give you money. He's pretty dumb with his money. He'll throw it around. You know that about him.
A lot of these athletes really only care about getting, money, and they don't really care about getting that Super Bowl.
And Dez cares about revenge more than the Super Bowl. I mean, where he should go is New England or San Francisco.
I agree to really go after that championship, and he's not going to get it when you're going to go to a teams like the Redskins and these mediocre squads. Maybe like even if he goes to Tampa Bay, even.
Yeah. So what are your top? So what teams? So you like Tampa? So you like the Patriots, Packers? Franchises like that.
Yeah, I mean, guys who know how to win, basically how to win championships. I mean, Tom Brady's done it. Aaron Rodgers has done it. Even the Saints, Drew Brees.
Right.
I wouldn't go to teams who don't know how to win and are just stuck in purgatory and can't do it. Even Russell Wilson, he's a proven winner in this league. I mean, love to see him go to Seattle.
Yes.
I think Seattle's a couple players away, too. They're not that far off. I mean, if it wasn't for all those injuries last year that Seattle had, they could have gone pretty deep in the playoffs. Am I right on that? I mean, I think a lot of people would agree on that.
I don't know, man. I mean, the Jaguars blew out the Seahawks, and Seattle, like they had some puzzling losses because I think that their locker room was fractured. I think the chemistry in Seattle's locker room was not up to the standard that I would want it to be if I were a Seattle Seahawks fan. So now Michael Bennett's gone. Sherman's gone. So their GM obviously saw that the chemistry wasn't working. So, I look at Seattle and I like what Seattle did. Speaking of Seattle.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree with that. And, I think it's going to be exciting coming in. Speaking of exciting,
yes.
Jump into our next topic here.
Yes.
The NBA playoffs is less than 24 hours away. And I'll tell you, we got a lot of topics, a lot of matchups here to discuss here at Rover Sports, and it just keeps on rolling here too. We're big basketball guys, and we live in the city of Philadelphia. Everybody's getting pumped up here about the Sixers, and
yes,
Spencer, I wanted to bring you in on this question here about tomorrow.
Yeah,
everybody in the city is already talking about the Sixers are gonna go in the Eastern Conference Finals, and they're gonna try to beat LeBron in 7 games. Get to the NBA Finals for the first time since 2001. I just wanted to get your thoughts on this. It's like this team didn't even win a playoff game yet. They got to play against the Miami Heat. They're already thinking NBA championship. I mean, when you look at the matchup, they're playing against Miami Heat, who they basically split the season series. And it's all been a less than double-digit wins for both squads. All games this year were very tight for both teams. So I just want to get your thoughts on this series before it gets started, and how it's going to be able to pan out and what the Sixers need to do to come out victorious.
I absolutely love this series for a lot of reasons because I love that the Sixers are getting challenged and playing a team of Miami's caliber. I think that the Bucks have no coach. They have no culture there of winning. They just have the Greek freak and they have no sustainability. I mean, a couple of years ago, you expected the Bucks to like make movement, right? Because they'd always be in the first round. They have not done that. You look at the other team, the Washington Wizards, and that team is just waiting to blow up. I know Bradley Beal or John Wall is going to be gone next year. They haven't been able to put it together. Their coach, Scott Brooks, was decent when he was with Oklahoma City, but he really hasn't done a great job. He was kind of always overrated, Scott Brooks, and I want him to show me something different in this Toronto series. Point is, this Miami team's dangerous. Their coach, Eric Spoelstra, is actually, I think, a decent coach, the one decent coach that, survived the LeBron James era of coaching LeBron. I like that Dwayne Wade went home. He's actually playing pretty well. Hassan Whiteside is going to be fun in these playoffs. Dion Waiters is actually a guy that can get you buckets. He does not shy away from the moment. Goran Dragic is a dangerous player. I'm really excited for this series because it's a lot of savvy vets versus the young team. I think Miami is a perfect nightmare for the Sixers. I think it's going to be a very competitive series, and I want to ask you, do you think the Sixers win the series in 6 games, 5 games, or do you not see it going that way at all? What do you think?
Well, it really all depends because, you know what, this series just got all interesting because we don't know the status of Joel Embiid's return.
Right.
That facial fracture.
He's not going tomorrow night.
Well, he's not playing tomorrow night. So that's already a word already from Brett Brown saying, bearing a miracle, he says in his press conference. He's not playing in this game tomorrow. But I'll tell you, like you said before, Goran Dragic, Dion Waiters, I mean, these guys can really ball out. And the thing is with the Sixers, I mean, yeah, they're the hot team coming into the playoffs right now. They're the number 3 seed now. But when I see this team, I think they're a team that, they have not been battle tested yet. And it's crazy. A lot of people are rumbling in their rumbling in their houses right now about this. But to be honest, man, like Sixers haven't been battle tested. I mean, this is the first time they actually, are touching the playoff series, first time with all of these new guys coming in like Fultz, Ben Simmons, Saric, Covington. See, these are the first time they're actually experiencing playoff atmosphere. And I'm curious how these guys are going to respond.
And Brett Brown, everybody wants to say that they love Brett Brown now, but like 2 months ago, they all were saying get him out, I was one of those guys that was doubting Brett Brown. The one thing about this team is that Bellinelli has played really well. J.J. Redick's completely made over his game into a guy that can shoot from anywhere and off the dribble. He's worked on his game and has actually improved himself. I think he might be one of the most improved players.
But I agree with that too as well. But here's the thing. Do not be shocked if Miami actually makes this a pretty compelling series and if it goes 7 games. It would not shock me at all. And I honestly can see Miami beating them.
I forgot a guy we didn't mention.
But you know what? I'm actually going out and making a bold prediction here. I think Miami's going to win this in 7 games.
Yeah, I have Miami in 6 games.
Really? See,
Justice freaking Winslow. I forgot that guy.
He is a good guy coming out of Duke. But I tell you, this Sixers team, no disrespect to them.
Slow them down.
I just don't.
Well, guess what?
Early
you need to slow them down. And guess what? They live by the 3, die by the 3. They're going to come up small and choke. You take the ball out of J.J. Redick's hands. You make Covington and Bellinelli beat you. Ben Simmons can't shoot. The one thing about Miami is the Sixers are a very good defensive team. That's the thing that you need to watch. Can Miami score the ball constantly? And they need to play low possession games, Shenko, where they hold the ball a little bit. Don't let the Sixers run. Don't let them get out in transition at home. Be smart. Don't turn it over and hold the ball late in shot clocks and then let one of the greatest closers of all time Dwayne Wade, let him take over the series. And if the Sixers lose this series, it'll be one of the biggest upsets that we've seen in the NBA playoffs in a long time, because everybody really expects the Sixers to – no one's even considering the Miami Heat right now. No one's giving Miami a chance in hell.
Don't sleep on Dwayne Wade, man. I'm excited for what –
I want to ask you about another series here. I have about 10 more minutes, Shank.
No problem.
I wanted to ask you this. Out of these series, okay, I'm going to say the Timberwolves. Yeah. Do the Timberwolves have any chance of winning games against the Rockets?
They have a legitimate chance, but I mean, obviously you're going up against a juggernaut here in the Rockets. I mean, with Trevor Ariza, Chris Paul, James Harden, Clint Capella, Ryan Anderson. These guys have just been balling out all year long. And honestly, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about, I mean, they're just a couple, maybe a year or two away, because Minnesota is going to be back next year. They're not going away anytime soon with Thibodeau, Karl Anthony Towns, Wiggins, Jeff Teague. They're going to be around again for quite some time. They're just going up against a juggernaut here. And they may get one game out of this, possibly. So I see the Rockets beating them easily in 5 games.
I see the Wolves winning this series.
Really? Wow.
I see the Wolves winning this series in 6 games.
That's a bold prediction.
I'm putting down my bold ones because I don't believe in James Harden in the playoffs. I just don't. I think Golden State, my lock is that Golden State still wins that conference, wins the West.
I don't know. They've been struggling without Kyrie, man. I don't know. I really don't know about them. My jury's still out on the Warriors too.
I don't know. They're always going to come back. They could just turn it on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But they're playing San Antonio this time around too. I remember last year when they had Kawhi Leonard. If they had Kawhi Leonard, that could have been a different series last year, and you know that.
Yeah. A little bit different, but Golden State still would have won. Probably.
It would have been more compelling.
Yes. I mean, Kawhi Leonard, it's just so disappointing to see him not playing any basketball, and
sure.
Gosh, they could have been good, and that was sad what happened last year. You're absolutely right. Shenko, who are your favorite teams in these playoffs? I have 2 teams that I really want to see go on a run in these playoffs.
My favorite teams?
Yeah, teams that you like in these playoffs because, teams that you're rooting for.
Honestly, I'm rooting for the Celtics just because of the fact that, I like, they've come a long way after what they have started this year, with that horrific Gordon Hayward injury, being the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. I mean, now they're not even with Kyrie anymore. He's done for the year. The fact that they won 55 games basically with those, players, with Gordon Hayward being out and Kyrie being injured for some of the year, that's quite an astonishing feat for them. Danny Ainge deserve a hell of applause for doing that as well. Even if you have Isaiah Thomas, I still don't think they're even, have a shot even to come out still in the East anyway. They'd still be at the position they were last year. But give them another year for them to really, make it shine in the playoffs, because next year you're going to have Gordon Hayward and Kyrie back again, really have the dream team, to really make a legitimate shot to go back to the NBA Finals. So I'm really rooting for them, going forward for next year. But I also love to see in the Western Conference now, Oklahoma City, they have been turning it on as of late. I just love that trio that they have brewing there with, Carmelo, because I love my Knicks, got no love for Melo. And obviously Paul George, I always adored him when he came out, when he was with the Pacers. And then obviously, Russell Westbrook's athleticism as a player is undeniable. So I'm really just rooting for them in the playoffs. And, it's just going to be super exciting. I just hope they really can, go make a deeper push, because I love Oklahoma City's fans. They're so passionate. They love their fans there. They live or die with Oklahoma City. And I just want to see a chip come to that city sometime soon, hopefully within the next, 2 or 3 years, because all the fans in the NBA, they deserve it the most. So I just really hope, in the next couple years that they can get their chance.
I actually want Oklahoma City to lose in the first round of the playoffs.
Oh man, you're a cruel man tonight.
I don't like Russell Westbrook because Russell Westbrook is a great athlete. He's the best athlete in the NBA. He has Michael Jordan. He could be the best player in the NBA for a lot of years to come. But I want to see him pass more. I want to see him continue to make his teammates better. And I love the Utah Jazz. They're my favorite team in these playoffs because I love Donovan Mitchell, Joe Ingles. You have no stars on that team. Rudy Gobert. You have a coach. They're the anti-NBA. There's no stars on that team. It's all teamwork. Ricky Rubio, all these guys just kind of coming together. And it would be a beautiful thing if they can play team basketball and advance through these playoffs. And then the other team I like is Indiana. Because when everybody did that trade of Paul George leaving, nobody thought Indiana would make it here. Oladipo, Lance Stevenson, born ready. I can't even name a lot of guys on their team, Sabonis, but I think it's incredible what Victor Oladipo and what this team has done, man. And if they're going up against Cleveland, I like seeing those teams with no stars, kind of making an imprint on these playoffs.
Right. Yeah, and that's just the thing. It's funny how Cleveland, we always thought Cleveland was a shoo-in, going into the playoffs for the past, couple years now. And, being the 4 seed this year, they're kind of just come off a significant drop-off because we're always used to them being the number 1 or number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. And obviously the Eastern Conference, and I still think, in my opinion, it's gotten better over the past year or so, but it's still nowhere as close to the power and the athleticism that they have in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
They're definitely making a push, though, for competitiveness.
The T-Wolves are so nice. I mean, they didn't get into the playoffs, and those teams are 15 games above 500, So the West is, extremely close. I don't think that the Spurs are going to do anything. The Portland Pelicans series is okay. I think that those teams are – I don't know. I think the Pelicans a tad boring other than Davis, I don't know if those teams can make a run.
That's a non-compelling series at all.
I think that the Raptors series is a little exciting because you have the Wizards, and I would like to see the Raptors actually make a run. But, as we wrap up this show here, my final question for you, Shenko, is how much confidence do you have in the Cavaliers making it out of this conference again?
How much confidence I have? It's a great question. I mean, I'm thinking that's a loaded question because, obviously with, the train can easily go off the tracks in Cleveland because, with the chemistry issues that they've had this year, dishing out Isaiah Thomas and, bringing in some new guys to really fill those roles. I mean, I do see them obviously going to the Eastern Conference Finals like they always do. Obviously, when you have LeBron, you're always going to have a chance no matter what and whatever conference you're in, And I really see Cleveland making a significant push, going right back again. Because
you have to admit, if the Sixers get eliminated, like we're saying, it's gonna get pretty easy. The Raptors is the toughest team in the way.
Sure. I mean, I see them, even if it's Boston in their way, they'll still beat them pretty easily like they did last year.
I want the Raptors to give them some run for their money.
But here's the thing with the Raptors, man. They're always the kid that's always getting picked last, for playing basketball. That's always them. They never give Cleveland a series. They're always the little boys in the Eastern Conference, and they're always, always getting bullied by LeBron. But, I mean, I see them, it wouldn't shock me if they didn't come out of the Eastern Conference, but they're going to be right there fighting, battling it to the end in the Eastern Conference Finals, whoever they play. Because, honestly –
I want the Raptors, man, to
that
make –
second spot is open, is up for grabs. I really –
You're going to have a Raptors guy like Van Leet. He has to be the X factor this year. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Honestly, dude, if the Sixers make it out of the first round, I could see, They really have the chance.
I kind of like that. Like, it's hard because I don't want the Eastern Conference Finals to suck. So if the Heat win, it would be an incredible prediction on our part. But having the Sixers in is really good for the NBA. Ben Simmons is I think he has the potential. I think he has the potential to be one of the best players to ever play this game of basketball. I know we talk about Russell Westbrook, but Ben, you will never find a 6'10" point guard like him, man. His passing ability, the confidence. So we're going to see in this series what's going to happen because Ben is unbelievable. Out of anyone I could start a franchise with, it's Ben Simmons. Even over Giannis. What do you want, Giannis or Ben? I give you two choices.
Well, that's easy. Come on, give me something easier.
What, the Greek Freak or Ben?
Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Westbrook or Ben?
To build around a team?
Yes.
That's a tough question. I mean, they're both two different positions. And
Ben.
Honestly, the way the NBA is today, I would pick still Ben Simmons. But
we think alike.
If we were in the 1980s and 90s,
yep,
I'd probably be picking Russell Westbrook. I really would. I mean, you look at the guys and back then you had Michael Jordan.
Yes.
And, guys that really dominated in the paint as well. I mean, there's some big name guys that really dominated as well. I mean, even big.
I wish the games are on right now. I want to see Westbrook play. I do like him, man. I mean,
but you want to see them lose in the first round, though.
What?
But you want to see them lose in the first round.
It's the best series. The Jazz Thunder is by far the best series.
You are by far wrong.
What?
That is an interesting series, but it's not the best series.
What is the best one?
Honestly, in the first round or in general?
The first round.
It's so tough because I honestly think it's between Philadelphia and Miami.
Okay.
And Golden State and San Antonio.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You're dead wrong. The Warriors are winning that in 4 or 5.
I think
they're going to be a series at all.
You're going to be surprised. But, yeah, Golden State will probably win that series. But I'm curious what Popovich has up his sleeve because you don't sleep on Pop.
If Kawhi comes back, that'll be the only thing that awakens that series. But you're absolutely right, man. Greg is freaking insane. You're right. He's a great coach. But, yeah, I'm not excited about that one as much. So I'm excited. We finally made it to the playoffs. The season's a bunch of – I don't even know what to say about the regular season.
Yeah.
I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. I'm going to go off and eat. Shenko here. Unbelievable job, Matt. Thanks so much for joining the podcast. You're going to probably start up your podcast coming up soon. More details to follow. And thank you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you guys hanging out.
Thanks, my friend.